Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome back to Call of Duty 4. I do have a special guest with me today.
Hello.
Uh,
It's
just don't introduce yourself at all.
no,
There you go.
no.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, go ahead. Go
It's
ahead.
it's me. It's me. It's Pythonicus. I was the one who was trying to do this like last year at some point.
Yeah, and I realized when I was doing this that I had to bring you in for this mission, if anything,
Uh,
because this is like everyone's favorite Call of Duty mission ever.
I am absolutely honored. This is hands down the best.
And the really sad part of it, in my mind anyway, is that after this, it every Call of Duty game has to have a mission like it. And the problem is that after this, they make it really, really obvious exactly what you're supposed to do and where the person is that you're supposed to shoot and everything like that.
Yeah. Memories of Modern Warfare 3 mostly.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 was lousy about that shit. I was thinking Modern Warfare 2, where you're going through the forest with Price,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and he's got the giant follow thing over his head, and they have this thing where you're supposed to stay dead still so the dogs and people walk past you, like later in this mission with the tanks. And yeah,
He's down.
so
Good night.
you're gonna see me do a lot of like waiting around and stuff like that. I just wanted to show off the fact that you can wait around, you can just decide not to do stuff at times. You're also going to see a couple of cuts, because I did fuck up a couple times, but overall, pretty good.
4 tangos inside.
But yeah, I think this was really neat as a mission just because it takes you completely out of everything you've done before.
Yeah. No. This is. I am a huge fan of like stealth games, so having this right here, like sneaking through completely undetected in enemy lines, is just so good. So good.
Yeah, no, it was really great. The first time you play it, you're just like constantly in fear of someone turning around and just spotting you. After you've played it a couple times, that fear is a little lessened because you've played through it and you understand what the mechanics are. But that first time, there's just nothing like it in the entire game.
Absolutely no. This was the height of the hype, more or less.
Let's move on.
Oh yeah, and then the thing is, like, it follows this up with the heat mission, where you have to go up down. That you start at the bottom of the hill, work your way back up to the barn, and then work your way down again. And like everyone remembers that as like this explosive follow up, and it's this amazing contrast of here's this mission, here's the second half of it where you're trying to get the fuck out of here, and then there's Heat where it's just all bombast, and it reminds you of why people really like this game in particular. Is just the variety it throws at you over the course of a couple hours.
Yeah, the variety, and then there's the whole pacing. Like, Infinity Ward got Modern Warfare 1 damn near perfect in terms of pacing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of tossed that out the window in favor of explosions in like 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
And it was just really disappointing, mostly.
And 3 was the worst on that too, because it was just you could tell it was basically cobbled together by whoever they could find for it.
Yeah, no. That was after that huge fallout, and it was just a huge mess.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and they just didn't have anything interesting like this mission in either of those games.
No.
I mean, it's very much a unique sort of mission, and I feel like if the opening sequence of this game gets copied a lot, this is the mission a lot of games go for when they have to do stealth stuff. Is they just think about this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've basically got our way through this, but you can see you can actually wait out people who are in these areas sometimes. You don't have to shoot them all, and sometimes I would actually suggest it because occasionally
Here's our chance.
you'll get these things where it's like, okay, you shoot one and make sure he's not looking at the other guy, and the game's a little buggy about it.
Yeah, that's the thing that the games after this aped the most was, hey, you take out this one, like the one you just specified, the one with Price in the woods in Russia,
Mm-hmm.
and going after the sub. It's like constantly just call out the targets, and then you shoot them, and then you move on, and it's like, well, I mean, you lost the magic.
Yeah, making it way too obvious. When McMillan says, hey, there's 2 guys here or something like that, and you can gun them down, sure. Giving them the option to let him go and, not have to deal with all the bullshit, way better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, oftentimes I'll replay this game, and this mission, I'll set, like you said, I got comfortable with it, and I just constantly just power through it, even though, like, I'm still experiencing it, but now it feels like I can just power through it, go through real quick, and I don't know, the first time is always the best.
Oh yeah. Even replaying this the first time when I was doing the test prep for this video was one of those things where you're just like, holy crap, like this was really a game changer for this entire thing. And you're going to see the first cut here because when these guys are coming down the hill with the tanks and everything, if you're not in the perfect spot, they'll just walk right on you.
Oh yeah, they will. I've had that happen so many times.
Yeah, when I first played this game back on the Xbox 360 years and years ago, I thought you couldn't just sneak behind McMillan. I thought you had to go and find your own space. And so I like had a spot that I'd hang out in the field in just to see if I could make it work. Wasn't really great at it because, yeah, here's the cut. The guy on the right there who's coming down the hill slowly, that was the one who got me last time.
Yeah, and if you move ever so slightly when they're up close like this, it's also just game over.
Oh yeah. He just stepped on my fucking face. It was just like, I was worried it was going to happen again here. I've been run over by the tanks. I think you can actually get underneath them if you line up correctly, and you might be okay, but I didn't really want to try it for the LP purpose.
Yeah.
So I'll get McMillan killed at least one more time, this don't worry. But yeah, like some of the difficulty of sneaking through, like I said before, it's not like much of anything else in the game. So there are points in the game where, and I've pointed this out before, when you're doing the SAS missions and you're, you know, take out this guy on the docks or whatever it was in the second mission in the game, and then later on during Hunted where you have to just lay down so people don't see you. Like, they do introduce elements to you, but they never combine it like this.
Yeah.
And there's so little shooting in this mission. Like, if you think about it, in this segment of the mission, you might fire 20 rounds. In the second half of the mission, yeah, it's explosion fest, but... yeah.
It's actually funny that you bring that up, because I remember at least one or two times where I've royally screwed up, and I've had to run out just firing as fast as I can at the people. And some, like, I think I may have made it through once.
Yeah, just without doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the area I always worry about whenever I play this, because if you look to the left of where I'm looking right now, there's a shipping crate, and it contains people and dogs. And if you fuck this up, you have to fight people and dogs.
Yeah, no.
Which you don't want to do with this gun.
No. And I think your secondary is a silenced USP, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. That's not much better.
So, yeah, if you just wait a little time, you can get away with doing that just easy. I've also fucked up here where McMillan doesn't shoot one of the guys when I do. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, this might just be me, but I always try to race him and see if I can't get both of them before he takes a shot.
Oh yeah, I think everyone does that shit. But, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. And if you do anything but a headshot, the guards alert other guards. Every time. So you have to kill him first shot. Even if you get him 2 in the chest immediately, you need the headshot or it won't work.
Right.
So it adds a little bit of difficulty to the mission. You can see here I remembered how to switch weapons. I keep trying to do it with a mouse wheel. You'll see that in a few videos.
I actually rebound during Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I rebound so I could do that.
Oi, Susie! That's how it's done.
There's a weird audio issue right there. You heard him just like get hit, and he just makes this weird hit sound.
Yeah. And you can say what you want about Captain Price, but McMillan is where it's at.
Yeah. And he makes a cameo appearance in MW3.
Yep, he's one of the radio ops. Yeah, that was the mission after or just before the gas attack.
He was he also talked to Price right before they went to the castle.
Forward area clear. Go.
So they use him a bit.
Yeah.
Right here I was like, you know what? not going to use it, but there's a silence P90. One of the, like, maybe 3 in the entire game. P90, and I almost walked right into these idiots. But the P90, it doesn't show up that much in the game, but man, do people love it in multiplayer. Had a huge magazine, killed pretty easily.
It's a goddamn bullet hose is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's a bloody convention out there.
And, you know, it's worth mentioning that, like, I think maybe a third of all the multiplayer maps took place in the Chernobyl thing. But it's difficult to figure that out completely because the Azerbaijan tile set and the Chernobyl tile set are very, very similar. So I can't tell if, you know, like, Block is very clearly supposed to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's where I fuck up. And I go, where'd McMillan go?
Let's go.
And then I get caught. That was McMillan's fault, all told. So I left that one in.
Man, McMillan went down like a chump on that one. He just took like 3.
Yeah. Usually on this difficulty, you can take like 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hell, McMillan.
Okay.
But yeah, this is, I think, one of those really interesting parts where you've got to follow him and just keep him in your sights. You can't just, like, go past him or anything like that, or you'll fuck it up. And again, they don't do that in the next games. It's just straight up, like, put follow thing overhead and go.
Yeah.
I think that bugged me. And you don't get this sort of thing in those follow-up missions in the other games, where you're, like, literally in the middle of an enemy encampment, essentially, and they're just inches from you at all times. Usually it's like, they might have one patrol pass you by, or they might have, you know, like, oh, stay still, dogs are coming. That's about it. Like, this is intense shit. Like, you get this really good tension from it.
Absolutely. And not to take away from that, but you mentioned Block, and Block was one of my all-time favorite maps in this game, simply because like when I wasn't recording for the internet, I'm always one of those sniper types. I will sit there, scoped in for days, and Block was just absolutely perfect for that. That had so many good sight lines you could just abuse.
Oh yeah, it was famous for that, but I always liked running a Scorpion on it and just getting right in the apartments and then just gunning people down and running around the backside of it. Of course, you could always decide, that was actually one of the few maps you could hush on effectively, if you know what I mean. Where you just take the perk that makes you invisible to UAVs, take your claymores, set them up with your sniper rifle and everything so you have a ghillie suit, and not be found for an entire game.
Absolutely.
And really piss people off when you get like 2 kills. And they're like, how did you win this game with only 2 kills?
Well, you see, I didn't die.
Yeah. You couldn't find me, therefore I won. When you get a full team doing it, oh, that's the best. That was another one that's inspired by this, the train one, Pipeline. That was the perfect map for it because there were so many like overgrown areas. Overgrown is also a good map for it, and you could just, you know, go right into this back area here and like set up your stuff and just never be found. The worst though was when your team all got in one spot that was really good and no one could find you there, and then the other team got an airstrike because someone wasn't following the program and killed all of you.
No.
Yeah. That was the worst.
Stop.
Yeah.
Hammer time. Sorry. Can't help it.
It's a wild dog.
I remember when Overgrown was re-released in, I think it was 2. And it was such a disappointment.
Yeah, you know, the thing about those games is that they definitely changed a lot in the game. Enough that, like, it bugs me with things like Battlefield, where they re-release maps. And between, like, 3 and 4, they talk about, Oh, and this is the thing. People get caught up on this, and they always try to shoot this dog and get into a fight with about 1 million more dogs. Not worth it.
No.
Not worth it. Don't do it. But yeah, the Battlefield games, for example, were always pretty neat. You could go play Wake Island in Battlefield 2, and then go play Wake Island in Battlefield 3, and you're like, this doesn't work in Battlefield 3. Like, the mechanics are different enough that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Call of Duty games. So, for example, Terminal in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 should never have happened in Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, no. Modern Warfare 3, I mean, I'd prefer not to talk about the net play in Modern Warfare 3 to begin with, but
It
no.
wasn't good.
There was one map that I actually did like the transition on. I think it was Karachi.
Yeah, Karachi is a good map for most games. Similar to Block, where it had a lot of open spaces, but it also had some pretty tight areas. Of course, in Modern Warfare 2, having secondary shotguns meant that you should stay out of the apartments.
Yeah.
Unless you had a riot shield. Yeah, but I just really like the scenery in this area, too. It's something that you don't see in the other Modern Warfare games. They don't really give you these abandoned areas. It's a lot more urban stuff. It's a lot more forest and nature. And then you get this sort of thing where it's, nature's taking over a former urban area.
Yeah.
It's just such a unique space in the Modern Warfare canon.
And another thing about it is, like, all the colors are so washed out, and everything else is usually so vibrant and in your face.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those missions that from the start they were planning into this thing in this area and had this whole thing picked out. Even when you go into Heat, even though they use a very similar tile set and a lot of the same assets in terms of like the background and the grass and everything like that, if you look, Heat is way brighter. It's more colorful. Even though they see one of the same churches from this thing in the Heat level, it's still different enough and interesting enough that you can easily identify it being a different area. I think that's a pretty neat concept.
Oh yeah, and another pretty goddamn neat concept was this.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
god. I would play this mission just for this.
Yeah, the first time you play this, you don't realize what what this is all trying to do is suggest that there's no way you can just straight kill Zakhaev. And I think that was an interesting idea, but once you've done it once, you realize, oh, no matter where I shoot him, it's always going to hit him in that arm.
Yeah.
There's no... I mean, obviously, he's the guy who's the big bad for the rest of the game. You can't kill him in 1996 and then expect it to work out in, 2015.
Yeah.
Or whenever, 2011 is when the first Modern Warfare takes place.
Yeah, how unfortunate also is it that this is the mission they chose to retcon in Makarov?
Yeah, that... In Modern Warfare 3, when they bring that up... Makarov, by the way, he's a sign that they never intended to make a sequel to this game.
Yeah.
Because they had nowhere to go with, the characters you dealt with. This game was initially... Because they thought, Infinity Ward was told that it would never succeed. They didn't build it like it was going to get a sequel. It just goes, and I love this. Bam!
Nice.
And I took out the guy behind him too. And then taking out the helicopter. I always suck at this.
Take out that helicopter, it'll buy us some time.
It's actually easier to do it later on in the mission, on foot, I find.
Yeah, because later on, McMillan will do it for you.
Does he?
Shoot the tail. Yeah, he'll shoot the tail of the thing.
Ah.
We'll have to take a shortcut.
And of course, now we're in full Michael Bay mode here.
Yeah. Like, whoa, hey, hello.
Yep. And I think by the way, watch for this building later on in the mission.
Follow me.
I don't know where this AK came from.
This is Alpha 6.
Captain Price's magic mustache.
Just pulled it right out.
Heading to extraction point 4.
But yeah, the end of this mission is actually really neat, I think. This is typical Call of Duty stuff, right? You're shooting guys down, you're running through an area, you're trying to get to an extraction point. But the way it's done and the gimmick that it throws in about halfway through all really work well.
Yeah.
And once again, the Call of Duty franchise is a franchise that lives and dies on gimmicks to an extent. Look how many grenades just got tossed out here.
Memories.
Yeah. The AI in this game and a lot of the other Modern Warfare games gets a little bit grenade happy at times.
Yeah, I am gonna state my disappointment that you didn't just pick up that RPD you saw.
I was trying to. That was why I got stuck behind where I was for as long as I was.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I wanted that RPD bad. Waiting for McMillan here. Also, I gotta say this about the characters, the support characters in this game. You're not as dependent on them opening doors as you are in later Modern Warfare games.
Yeah, I can see that.
You are still dependent on them doing it, of course, because that is like a thing. And I didn't shoot the dog because I was hoping it'd be nice to me. But no, that motherfucker coming.
Oh no, dogs are not nice.
There, in a later, in a later video in the thread, I'll actually snap 2 dog necks in a row, and that somehow saves me from dying. I don't know how.
I was always the worst at that QTE. I always die at least once if there's a dog on me.
Yeah. Alright, Claymore by door. I think it's... I really wish I didn't do that, because you can actually save yourself a Claymore for later on. And of course I died to this. So I get a little bit ahead of myself.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So... That kind of sucked. I don't pay attention.
Stand by.
Anyways, yeah, the sniping segment's over. I keep meaning to just drop my sniper rifle, but I remember a little later on, I don't want to do that because you want it for later.
Yeah, no, that sniper rifle is pretty invaluable.
Oh yeah. But I'm like, you know what? I haven't used the G3 in a little while. That's the thing about weapon variety in this game, is that it's severely lacking at times. And it's just, the G3 only comes naked, you know, the AK-47 only comes naked or with a grenade launcher. It always bugged me that, like, they never really do a great job of weapon variety in this game.
We'll take it there together.
Yeah, see, I didn't do that. That was all McMillan.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
I always managed to peg the pilot. But I never actually saw him do it himself.
I suck at sniping, so... I always think I could die to that somehow.
I think I've gotten hurt by it.
Yeah.
At one point.
You're gonna have to carry me.
So, this is the gimmick for the last half, and it's actually pretty neat, I think. You're never going to be in a really bad spot, at least on the normal difficulty, to where you can't really survive this with, you know, you could probably try to carry McMillan without stopping if you really wanted to try. But he's super helpful, and, excuse me, does a pretty great job of just gunning these guys down pretty quickly, especially in the last segment.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that last segment, it only took me 2 tries this time. I was pretty happy.
Nice.
Yeah. On the later difficulties, holy shit, will it wreck your face, but...
Actually, funny story is, a couple years ago, I was doing a stream of Modern Warfare games on Veteran. I never made it past 1, but, this mission, I got stuck on it for sure, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But, the mission after this, like, Heat, you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. That one sucked.
Yeah, I actually get through Heat in what I would consider record time. I don't know what happened. I hit a gap in the AI or something like that, and I was just able to just run straight down with almost no fighting.
Wow.
It was getting back up to the barn and taking out the tanks that was the problem.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next video.
Head to that department. We'll try to...
So this is actually the segments where you're going to start seeing stuff from block, like directly. The swimming pool area from right before we started sniping, that was actually part of block as well.
Yeah, and the area you just passed through as well.
Yeah, and this building is actually a building in block. So,
it's all shifted around, of course.
yeah, yeah. But they use a lot of the assets all over the place, which is great. Like, I've said it a million times in the LP, but it's actually for the best, because it gives you a familiarity no matter what you're playing. If you're playing multiplayer for the first time or playing the single player for the first time, you're going to recognize a little bit of the area,
Yeah.
which is really nice. And McMillan just saved my ass from that dog. And so, here's the thing about this area, and I always forget it, but there are multiple assholes in this thing that just don't move. They just stay in their rooms.
I remember trying to lure these guys out, and no, they're super glued to the floor.
Yeah, and that's why McMillan gives you the, like, hey, make sure it's clear. That dude was waiting for me. He was, like, pre-firing.
Oh, yeah. He heard everything that just happened. He's like, I'm not moving.
And there's a dog.
Of course.
I don't know how I killed it, but I did. That spray there must have got him.
Sometimes the the animation for getting hit by a dog. It's decently good for taking them out.
I'll take it. Yeah, here we go. This is actually definitely part of block here.
Yeah, this whole back area.
Yeah, this is actually the swimming pool area that's from block. The other place was a school. But one of the things about the that school area we went through earlier on, people mentioned it in the thread that if you... Oh, hey, look, dogs.
Yeah.
Something weird happens here that I've never seen happen before with them. You'll see it in a minute.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And anyways, one of the things about this area is that if you listen really closely in that school area we went through where McMillan was giving his 50,000 people speech,
Tango down.
you can actually hear children's voices in the background. It's very faint, but I could hear it, and I was like, I had never known that happened.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So the dogs come after me, then one of them turns out to be friendly. It's dog meat.
Oh, my
And then they go and they tear apart all the Russians that are down at the bottom of the hill. I've never seen that happen, no matter how many times I've played this game.
D-Dog. D-Dog is the truest ally across all games.
Yeah. D-Dog had... DD, down. DD, sit. Captain Price could be shot.
By to safe distance.
I can see it.
Put me down behind the Ferris wheel where I can provide snipers.
So, here we go. This is the segment of this level that drives people the nuts. Just because it can be very difficult. And even with the advantages you have of, you know, McMillan giving you stuff for extra claymores and the C4, it can still take a lot of effort, even on normal. It took me 2 tries, as you saw that cut there. What I found is the simplest and purest way of getting through this is to just stack your claymores up in a fucking line right here. Guys will actually go to the right, and there will be people who drop down off of helicopters, but you'll never go wrong with just dropping a bunch of claymores right in a row there, because that's where most of them come out of that are going to give you a problem.
I never actually thought of that. I always try and space them out.
Yeah, that's sucker's game, man.
Yeah.
So, you've actually, this should go pretty smoothly once we get up here. I've never figured out a good spot to be in for this.
Actually, like I said, I was doing that stream on Veteran. The best place I found is actually that little, I guess it's bumper car segment to the right. Yeah, that was actually the most defensible position because your back's against a corner and everyone has to come that way to get you.
Yeah.
Stand by to engage.
So at this distance, the explosions don't render.
Just falling over.
Yeah. I have this weird obsession with the draw distance in this game because it is based on the old Quake 2 engine, and so it's not like polygons kind of pop in and out really badly in this game.
Yeah.
Like worse than I ever remembered. Look at McMillan just going to fucking town.
Of course.
It's just, oh my god. Just murdering things. Where are the allies like this through the rest of the fucking franchise?
Let me just say that the time you control price in Modern Warfare 3 pales in comparison to this whole thing.
Oh yeah. In Modern Warfare 3 where you control price, I was like...
You're in a juggernaut. Here, he's in a fucking ghillie suit. What protection is that going to get?
Yeah, it's just...
And it's the same amount of guys, more or less.
Oh yeah. I think they just... Modern Warfare 3's major sin was that they decided to go big or go home. And they went as big as they could and like gave all the fan service they could throw out at you. And it just didn't work because the gameplay wasn't there. Like, there was no interesting mission design. There wasn't really a reason for me to play. I don't remember the reason I was doing half the shit I was doing in that game.
Enemy chopper!
Like, oh, I'm in Germany now. I think the Russians are attacking? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Steel just kind of shows up wherever they want and does things.
Yep, that's it. And, yeah, I'm trying to snipe the pilots out of this, so what? I don't think you can.
It's a worthy effort.
Yeah. I really wish they'd made that a little bit more viable. This is actually the first time I died here, the reason I died. And I mean that for the recording purposes. It was these guys dropping out of the helicopter and me not paying any attention to them.
Yeah.
Because I was still looking for people coming out of the pool area.
Yeah, I always make it my objective to take as many out on the rope as I can.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I can get a perfect 4, but other times it's a huge mess.
Yeah, if I were actually decent at sniping, this would probably look a lot better, but yeah, there's a reason I don't pick up the ops in Counter-Strike at all. So it's
well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. No matter how good at sniping you are, nothing is an op.
no.
Nothing is an op. It's so hard. It is so hard.
R7000 in this game, not bad for that sort of thing.
No.
That was actually, I mentioned it in the video, but the R7000 in multiplayer, because you could put an ACOG on it, it got used like a fucking bolt action assault rifle a lot of the time. People would just, that was what people used to kill you a lot, because it got the auto aim benefit. So yeah, I had fucking bad moments remembering that shit.
There's always that one thing though.
Oh yeah.
Something dumb that probably shouldn't have been allowed, but you know, it happened. We lived.
One-man army tubing. All you need to say. That and chaining together kill streaks in Modern Warfare 2. That was a really bad idea.
I only ever got like 5 nukes in MW2, and one of them was what I'll call legitimate.
Yeah.
With the run and gun, not camping, not sniping, not this or that. No,
Yeah.
just being out there and actually in danger for the most part.
Yeah. The only time, this is really sad, the only time, I never got a nuke in Modern Warfare 2. My closest was 23 kills. And because I had low kill streaks set up, so I had like Harriers in attack chopper, and I'm like, there's no way this works. It wasn't even chopper gun or anything like that.
Right.
And it's just, I got to 23 and I'm like, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, and then some guy just knife ran me and stabbed me in the back. Son of a bitch.
So heartbreaking.
Yeah. And but in Black Ops, the first Black Ops, I could get up to 25 kills no problem. That was the weird thing, but by then they didn't have the nuke at all in that game. But yeah, it's.
The first time I got nuked, I thought it was a bug. I 100% just thought, what? That's not supposed to happen.
Then if you went into somebody's Xbox Live profile, they'd always list out how many nukes they had. That was the funniest thing. Alright, let's get him in here and finish this up.
Nicely done.
Yeah, well, I didn't die more than a couple dozen times. But I actually only died once in this last stand area. That's the thing about this game. If you're at all good about shooters, especially if you have any decent way to aim, like say with a keyboard and mouse, you'll probably get through this. Really, this game is just not very difficult on normal.
No.
Veteran's about like what normal would normally be for most games. And I just don't have the heart to do that right now. Because I keep thinking it's going to get worse, it's going to get worse. Hey, there's the exploded hill.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. It's nice that they had that little call back there. But yeah, that's basically the mission. We're going to get the briefing on the next one, and we're on our way out. But I always love that flashback sequence. That's such a really smartly done mission.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's favorite, and then the heat is always everyone's second favorite because it allows so many awesome moments, like the part where I get hit straight in the face with an RPG.
And more along phase 1.
Yeah.
We'll delay them all the way back to the top.
No joke. At the very end of the mission, I'm like, yeah, this is going real well. I basically can't die. RPG to the face. But thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.